audible? Hello, everyone. A very good morning to each and everyone. All right, I think I'll wait for about a minute so that all the students can join in. Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Yes. Students, kindly use the chat box for responding to me. Yes, all right. I can see a number of messages propping up in the chat box. And I will quickly take you through the general guidelines, students, and then we'll have a lot of conversations today. And I will also be introducing myself and introducing you to the course Professional Communication. All right. So we have about 779 plus students here, and I think the number is just increasing. So without further ado, I'll read out the general guidelines for all of you. So everyone, kindly be very attentive and listen to me very carefully, right? So students, please keep yourself mute and your videos should be disabled during the session, which has been done already for you. You're also requested to keep a note of your queries. Type your queries in the chat box. Avoid crosstalk, sharing your screen, or causing any disruption during the session. The session, as you can see, students, it is being recorded and it will be available in the common room calendar after the session. Recording by any means, that is photographing, audio taping, or videotaping of any presentation or session is strictly prohibited. The recordings which are shared via Amigo, they're also copyrighted, so you may not copy, reproduce, distribute, publish, display, perform, modify, create derivative works, transmit, or in any way exploit any such content, nor may you distribute any part of this content over any network. Now, students, I hope my presentation is pinned, right? And today we are going to begin with the first live session that you all have for professional communication. Now, I have a few pointers to start with before we actually start talking about your studies, talking about the course, talking about the module, right? So, first of all, students, tell me, how are you all doing? We have right now 930 plus students, all right, so which is a very good number. And okay, so I have a message from Avinash. You're my favorite professor and I truly appreciate your teaching style. Thank you so much, Avinash. Thank you. And so I think you all are doing well, but what is so special about the Sunday uh, session that we have right now? I'm sure that you've had some tea, some coffee, something. Okay. No job, just class. All right. Is my voice not clear? Just let me know if my voice is clear. Write down CC, crystal clear. Right? CC. All right. Amazing. Great. Now you tell me, students, did you have tea, coffee, anything? Okay, not yet. Nothing. All right. Nothing at all. Okay. Tea. Just woke up. All right. Okay. Lassi. All right. So students, let me tell you one thing that our morning sessions, it starts really early, right? Pretty early. So I would suggest you for the next time when we meet, you should have, a cup of coffee, some, biscuits with you so that, you are thoroughly in the context of, full in with respect to your food also. Okay, you're not hungry while the class is going on because I don't want your thoughts to wander here and there, right? All right. Okay, next I want to ask this question. So are you a coffee person or are you a tea person? I repeat the question. Are you a coffee person or are you a tea person? Okay, I can see, a mixed batch. I can see responses shuffling with both tea and coffee. That's amazing. That's great. Somebody said, I don't like both. I like lassi. Why is lassi very famous in today's class? Okay, somebody saying green tea, black professional communication, professional development here at Amity University Online. And this, let me tell you, is the first live session for Module 1, Professional Communication. Is my voice breaking, students? Do you think my voice is breaking? I think Hardik says my voice is breaking. Um, can you all, okay? Okay, it's clear now. Is it clear? All right. Okay. I'll just repeat what I just said. I am going to begin today's session on professional communication, the first module. This is the first live session. I'm Dr. Apurva Chauhan, and I am going to be there for your first semester, and we're going to learn a lot about communication, professional development, some soft skills, gestures, etc., all of it together. So it's a capsule course for you to get better at communication, get better at your, how you groom yourself professionally as well as personally. And this is going to help you not just in your, professional sphere, but also personal, right? Now, the next very important thing that I really wanted to say at the very beginning of the session, but anyways, no issues. So, students, I have about here 100 1200 students here, okay? And yes, you won't be able to see each other's messages, right? And this is how it is, students, because if you all start looking at your messages, there's going to be a lot of chaos in the chat box, right? And we don't want that. So there can be a little bit, a situation where I might not be able to read out your message because, as you can see, there are so many students, right? So you can wait for that moment where I pick your particular question at the end of the session. Is that clear? But if you have any responses, please share it on the Am I audible, students? Okay. Can you all hear me? Everyone? Am I audible? All right. I hope I've made myself clear, everyone. Yes, okay. So if my voice is breaking, let me know next time. All right. I think there is a little bit issue with the internet right now. Yeah. I hope you can see my screen. Yes? All right. Okay, now let's start. So I think I have explained everything with respect to the class decorum and around it. Okay, so we are now going to begin with the session. Today, students, we'll be talking about the importance of professional communication and various factors that affects it. Okay. Now, I think let's begin with the understanding of communication. Like, why do you think communication is important, or why do you think communication is such an important soft skill that you have it in your courses? Can you all please respond to me in the chat box? Everyone? Okay, communication is the key. That's what Ranjita says. All right. To convey our messages, Vaishnavi says communication is means of conveying knowledge, thought, ideas. All right. Okay. We are social beings, all right. Communication is better for understanding. And how does it impact your growth, your development, your space, your seating at the professional sphere, at where you are right now? How does it impact your promotion? How does it impact your overall personality in the professional sphere? Okay, okay. It's a key of success, but how do you think it is? All right. I'm waiting for your answers. Communication is means of conveying your information. That's fine. Communication helps you understand. All right. Specify goals. Very good, Akhil. Pradeep says communication is a two-way process with the help of communication. Very good. So I think you have a pretty clear idea of how important this soft skill or art is, right? Correct. I hope that that makes it one important tool, a set to have more, uh, you know, grip over your situation, over your overall career, the span of your career. It's a pioneer for your visibility. That's what Sumit says. And that is, I believe, one of the most important answers that we have today from you all. Sumit, right? Sumit says it's a pioneer for your visibility. Exactly. So, how you carry yourself and how you convey yourself, your ideas, your thoughts, your overall personality onto the sphere in front of people, in front of your peers, in front of your seniors, directors, the stakeholders. It all magnifies your personality or magnifies your thought. Correct. Now let me just, move further. Can you all have your attention towards the screen in front of you? All right. So it says that exchange of information in a workplace or professional setting with the goal of conveying messages clearly, effectively, and appropriately is what professional communication can fairly, in a layman's language mean. Right? I hope by far this is clear to all of you. Right? Okay. One of the students here with a very, I would say, there is number and there is variable in the name. I don't know why. Says it's a medium of exchange, and that exchange could be about anything. That exchange could be regarding your, thoughts related with success, or your thoughts related to anything which is going to determine your success. So at workplace, it is really important to make sure how you convey those thoughts, information, valuable insights, perception, etc. Right? Krati says, why are you not acknowledging my response? So, Krati, as I mentioned in the very beginning of the session, I have about 1,200, 1,300 students, and there can be messages that just, snowballs, right? I have so many messages together, so I might not be able to read out all the answers. So, students, do not feel disheartened at this particular point. So, don't worry about it, okay? Now, it encompasses what professional communication, various forms of information exchange. It could be verbal, like that you have face to face, right? Then you have phone calls, you have presentations, you have written communication also, such as emails, reports, memos, and formal letters. Now, students, while we talk about professional communication or communication in general, we must understand that what is a typical categorization or typical typification of communication, right? So, communication is broadly divided into various categories, but when you look at it from a bird's view, I would suggest you to focus on the two important categorizations, that are verbal and non-verbal communication. Very good. I think you all already, had you mentioned in the chat box, like Sabrita and Vishal. Very good. So verbal and non-verbal. Now, without, before going through all the other aspects of communication, let's focus on verbal and non-verbal. Now, verbal is the kind of communication wherein you are using words. Very simply, it is categorized, and I don't want students to be confused here. Anything that has to do with spoken word or written word comes in verbal communication. I hope this is clear to all of you. Verbal communication will include anything that has to do with a grammar structure, some words, and you are, for example, now this is a book, right? Can you see the book? Right. This is the book, and when I say this is the book, I am verbally telling you that this is a book. Correct? Yes, I hope this is clear, right? Now, verbal communication is further categorized into two categories, two parts. First is called oral communication, and the second is called, can anyone guess? First is called oral communication. Yes, thank you. Written communication. So, verbal communication, the binary extends, and you have oral and written communication. Now, oral communication is the communication wherein you are speaking it out. Okay, you're using speech, right? You are uttering and you are pronouncing things, you are enunciating your thoughts, right? Representing your thoughts through your words, which you speak out. That comes into oral communication. I hope this is by far very clear to all of you. And written communication, I don't think it needs any explanation there, but then written communication is when you write it down, right? If I text you all that, hello, my name is, for example, hi, this is Apurva. Now, I am telling you that I am Apurva through written communication, right? Now, understand it more clearly. There is an umbrella term. That umbrella term is called verbal communication, which is further divided into two binaries, rather binaries, oral communication and written communication. Is that clear? Now, Harsh is asking a very, uh, a curious question here. Why written communication is not non-verbal communication? For that, Harsh, you will first have to understand what non-verbal communication is, right? So I hope by far we are clear with verbal communication, oral communication, and written communication. Can you just write down yes in the chat box for me, everyone? All right. I hope this is crystal clear to all of you. I'm going to read this out for you, so please listen to me. This type of communication, that is verbal communication, involves the use of spoken or written words to convey messages. It includes face to face conversations, phone calls, meetings, presentations, speeches, or written documents such as emails, letters, reports, and memos. I think you all can see it in the slide, right? Now let's come to a very interesting part of communication, that is non-verbal communication. I'm sure that you all have certain idea of what non-verbal communication is, but let me just clarify one very basic detail about it, which means there are no words involved. Can I say it again? There are no words involved. Yes? And when I say there are no words involved, that means that you're not talking about a structured grammar, you're not talking about structured semantic understanding of words and languages, right? There is, I'm going to reiterate it, there is no words here, there is no structured grammar here, no semantics here. That means there is no universal understanding of non-verbal communication, no proper universal understanding, right? Now, to get you closer to the meaning of non-verbal communication, let's just begin with the term itself, non-verbal. No words here. So I'm going to gestulate some gestures for you, and you're going to tell me what does that gesture mean. Okay? All right. Please have a look on the screen. Yes? Okay. Now tell me, what does it mean? Okay. So I can see number of students saying okay, some saying thumbs up, and some saying all right. Right? And there is also a student who's saying great. Exactly. Now, can you just think about it for a moment, that there's one gesture, okay, one, sort of, you know, uh, sign, I can say perhaps, which has several meanings attached to it. Like, for example, when I say all the best, I might use my thumbs and say it with this particular gesture, all the best. Or when I say it's good, I might say it's good, right? Or if someone asks me, are you okay, I might say, yeah, I'm okay, right? So there is no proper universal codification of these gestures, right? Correct? No, this will not be included in sign language. Perhaps there is a very blurred, understanding or blurred division between this and sign language. We'll talk about it later, but right. So first of all, to clear it for all of you, non-verbal communication involves conveying messages without the use of words. It includes facial expressions, right? Now I'm going to give you a facial expression. You are going to tell me what does it mean. Okay? Now, what does his facial expression mean? Okay, so some people say is amazed, some people say shocked, some people say surprise, some people say fear, and some people say oh my God. Okay, all right, amazed, astonished, flabbergasted. All right, surprise. Very good, very good. So as you can see, there is no one answer to it. Yes, right? There is no one answer to it. And some Anuradha here says, "Ye kya hua?" All right. So, and anyway, so I think one thing, two things are clear here. We're talking about, a type of communication wherein we are not using words. Two, we're talking a type of communication wherein, there is no specific universal codification for it, right? Why? Because different cultures will have different contexts, right? For example, if you've seen this movie called Inglorious Bastards, you might understand what I'm saying, because German will use to as this, and what was the other country? I'm just forgetting. Americans perhaps might say to like this. Okay, something like that. And for that, you'll have to watch the movie to understand this very distinct way in which a person recognizes person's gesture, and through that gesture the person recognizes the person's country, right? The movie's name is Inglorious Bastards, and it is, I think, in the backdrop of the Second World War, if I'm not wrong. And it's going to be a very interesting movie to understand the cult, of course, the historical background given, yes, but then there are things that you understand with respect to cultures, right? Yeah, with Brad Pitt. Correct, correct, correct. So I think you all understood a bit about facial expressions. Now there's also body language. Okay, for example, I say no. Some people say no, why would I do this? So you cannot have one proper way of maybe judging a person's expectations or perceptions with the kind of body language that he or she uses. Now there is gestures, there are eye contact, there are postures, tone of voice, and physical distance that we call proxemics. We'll be talking about co-pact today, students. Do you all know what is a co-pact, or what is co-pact? No one? We'll be talking about it, no worries. So, yeah, so we are talking about physical distances also. So nonverbal cues, they often is not the right word. They always complement verbal communication and can convey emotions, attitudes, and intentions. Now, you tell me, students, I'm sure that you all use WhatsApp to communicate with your friends, with your relatives, with your, what do you call, your colleagues also. Am I right? Am I right? Yes. So, do you use WhatsApp without using emoticons? Do you do that? Without using emoticons? I think 90% of the students here will agree with me that talking without emoticons feels rude, mean, indifferent, right? Correct. I understand. In professional communication, in professional conversations, also, you tend to share something, right? Right. And yes, Tarang, you're right. It is confusing most of the times because written communication cannot replace the what you call the spontaneity and the transparent attitude of the face-to-face communication. While you're having a face-to-face communication, or one that we are having right now, for example, you can see me face-to-face. You can see me using my hand movements, or using you can see that I'm having some gestures here, so you can see me, right? So this yeah, just a moment, students. Yeah. So whatever you are talking, or whatever you are having a conversation, whenever you're having a conversation face to face, it cannot somehow it is something that overpowers the conversations that you're having in the written communication. And that is why when you are talking with people over a mail, over a WhatsApp, it tends to in some ways misconstrue the meaning. Correct. All right. Okay. So chat without emoticons is like chatting to a mannequin. Yeah, something like that. I might not say exactly, but yes, close to that. It happens. All right. So, on that note, students, we'll move further now. We have a lot many things to talk about, but the most important thing that I want you all to be clear of is that non-verbal communication is an extremely important part of communication, and it looks like non-verbal communication is not that important. You have to work on your fluency. You have to work on the way you articulate things. You express your thoughts, but then most important part of your communication is how you're using non-verbal communication, or how you're using the body language, how you're using your facial expressions, how you're talking and making sure that you are not looking scrunchy or lazy. So you have to talk about everything here, right? And Harsh Chen, thank you so much for the compliment. Anyways, so we'll move here. And I think you can just note down in your notepads that non-verbal cues always complement verbal communication and can convey emotions, attitude, and intentions in a more clear manner, in a clearer manner, right? Chanakya says, doesn't non-verbal part come in picture only when we are in person? Yes, yes, Chanakya, most of the time, yes. It's mostly when you are talking to a person face to face or in person. That's the time when non-verbal communication plays the most important role. I would also say that nowadays, when we're living in the VUCA world, when the world is about virtual identities and everything, I think even virtually it is important. We are learning about netiquette. Are we not learning about netiquette? I hope you all know what is netiquette. It's the etiquette that you follow in the world or in the world of digital spaces, right? So you cannot miss that also, Chanakya. But yeah, good point made. We'll move forward and just talk a bit about oral communication, right? So I think we have already talked about it. It refers to the exchange of information, ideas, and messages through spoken words. So speech comes here, right? And there you have, you talk to a person on a phone, or it's in person, okay? It's a conversation that you're having. So meeting, presentation, interviews, face-to-face conversations, everything that comes in the oral communication. Now you have certain advantages of oral communication. What are the advantages? I think you can all see it on the screen. And do you agree with it, everyone? Okay, Gorish says when we chat using emoticons only in WhatsApp, Telegram, then that can become a non-verbal communication. Yeah, actually, I was trying to say that itself, that it somehow tries to replicate the conversations that you're having face to face, Gorish. Okay, Santosh, you don't need to copy and paste again and again. Santosh says, what about the way we speak, the tone or pitch or our voice while being meetings where we are not visible? Exactly, Santosh. Yes, very good point made. So in meetings, when you are not showing your cameras, but you're still speaking, your tone, your pitch, all of it impacts your somehow invisible personality. So very good point made. I think Santosh, right? Thank you for that. Now, students, do you all agree with the advantages that we have on the screen for oral communication? First is immediate feedback. Then you have clarity and understanding, non-verbal cues, personal connection, flexibility. Do you all agree with them? Come on, come on, come on, come on, everyone. Do you all agree with it? So, do you all agree that oral communication offers flexibility in terms of delivery methods, allowing individuals to adapt their communication style and approach based on the audiences and context? Do you think so? Right? Okay. Then personal connection. Do you think that face to face conversations and verbal interactions create a sense of personal connection? There's a rapport between the individuals and there's trust that you can foster. Yeah, right. I think out of all of these advantages, I think I believe in personal connection a lot of it. Personal connection is something that you can have, a very strong personal connection when it comes to oral communication. in comparison to written communication or digital communication or any other part of communication. Okay, I think there's a question. Abhishek Suryan is asking, this webinar, will it fall in verbal communication or non-verbal, since you said chatting? Okay, I'll tell you. This is what you call, this live session is a combination communication. I am, of course, using oral communication, one. We're also using virtual communication slash digital communication, right? So you can hear me, you can see me, and I can see your messages. So with respect to my conversations, my students are responding me with the written communication, right? So you can see the combination, Surya, and I'm sure, right? Okay, one more thing that I wanted to ask you all was the difference between a dialogue and a monologue. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between a dialogue and a monologue? Okay. Anurag says monologue is one-sided. All right. Dialogue is between two people. That's Shruti. All right. Very good. So I'm sure that you all are aware of it, but let me just clarify it a little more. So monologue is when one person is talking and the other people who are listening to him or her, that's the audience, is not responding. Okay, they're just passively listening to the speaker. That's what monologue is. When we talk about dialogue, dialogue is when people invite others to also give their feedbacks, responses, or anything that they want to contribute to, right? I don't think it's anything that's very difficult to grasp, right? So this classroom, because Suryan asked this question, that's why I wanted to talk about dialogue and monologue also. So this classroom that is here right now, which is the virtual space that we all are sharing, is a dialogue. It's not a monologue, because I, as a speaker, is you all can hear me, right? I, as a speaker, want you all to respond to me in the chat box, right? Like, I can see your messages, Divya, Jyoti, Asmi, Arun, Pallavi. I can see your messages, right? So it is going to be from now on, whenever you come to my class, you have to understand that this is the dialogue that we're entering into, right? So I hope I've made myself clear to all of you, right? Okay, so we are done with advantages of oral communication. In your examination, question like this can come to write down the limitation and advantages of any type of communication. It could be oral communication, it could be written communication, it could be verbal communication, or it could be non-verbal communication. Okay, I think someone has a good point. Arun Kumar says, I mean, Man Ki Baat by our Prime Minister, it is a monologue. Yes, you're correct. That's a monologue that he would want all of us to hear, because he's speaking while we all are listening. Correct. Okay, great. What else? Okay, now we're done with ma'am, please can you explain me what is cues? Cues are pointers, okay? Like, for example, verbal, non-verbal cues. When I say non-verbal cues, it means that there are certain non-verbal, attitude that is slipping in my conversation. For example, if I'm not interested in talking to you, you'll look at some hints that my body might be giving, my body language might be giving. So that is what we called cues. Cues basically means hint. Okay. No, this class is not a monologue, it's a dialogue. Okay. Personal touch in conversation, William. All right. Yes. So I think limitations. Let's look at the limitations of oral communication, can we? Okay. Correct. So lack of documentation. So for example, if you're having a conversation with your boss in the cafeteria and that talk becomes the shop talk, it becomes something that's important, something that's viable for your what you call screening with respect to your promotion or any of those things. You have no way to document that. You cannot ask your boss that, hey, can you please wait, I'll turn on the recorder, and you might say it all of it once again. You cannot do that, correct? So there is lack of documentation. Then there is ineffectivity with respect to complex messages also, right? So if you're talking to a person regarding an extremely difficult manner, So there's a lot of things that needs explaining, and that's why today in the corporate world you'd see people writing down really long emails. Do you agree? Yes, you will get the recording of this live session. Do not worry about it. Ashutosh is asking, how can we manage the lack of documentation in oral communication? So you cannot do so, and that is why you have written documentation to the rescue. Okay, you cannot in any ways, record a person. Okay, you cannot ask in any way to the person that how can you not recall what you told me, right? So there are so many times you fight with your family that how can you not remember it? How can you not recollect what happened? So that is something that's always going to be there, and that's why it is limitation in the oral communication, because we do not live in the big boss house, right? So there is always going to be that. Okay, now let's come to, yes, Chanakya, let's come to the second. Yeah, second point is when there are complex messages that you want a person to understand, it is very difficult in oral communication to to confront. Okay, sometimes people this is a very informal example that I'm going to give you, but when someone wants to break up with someone, they prefer doing it over the phone, because they feel that students, can you see me now? Can you hear me now? All right, I'm extremely sorry about it. I think the connection is poor here. All right, I hope I'm audible. Yes? Sorry about it. All right. So as I was saying that a lot number of people, they would choose to use WhatsApp or email to break up with someone. Correct? So these are the things that tell you that confronting on difficult matters or confronting in difficult situation is very difficult. It becomes really very nasty, becomes chaotic when you choose oral communication. There could be arguments, there could be anger issues, there could be anything, and that is why a lot number of people in the corporate world would write lengthy mails to explain something, right? Right. I hope that is. Thank you, Ashish. I think that is clear to all of you. Now let's come to the third point: potential for miscommunication. Of course, if I am saying something, it can have diverse effect on diverse people, and that's really a very common thing that happens in oral communication. That there can be miscommunication. Your messages can be taken to be a misconstrued message, so it can occur due to factors such as language barriers, ambiguous phrasing, or differences in interpretation of nonverbal cues. Then you have limited reach, of course, when you are in an office, in an organization, but you can have teams all around the world. Like you can have your team sitting in different part of India or different part of the world. And so oral communication cannot be a good, what do you call, a choice to explain something. And thus it is a limited field, that is oral communication. Of course, you can have telephonic conversations or virtual conversations wherein you might be speaking. But then sometimes people would use written communication as a rescue to address everyone. Right? So, oral communication, the limited reach, because it is limited to the immediate audience and does not reach individuals who are not present during the communication exchange. Right? Okay, I hope. Okay, Ayush Rawat. I can see your messages. No one reply me. Even think this is not a recorded class, students. Okay, okay. I can see your messages clearly, but of course I cannot actually address and respond to each one of them. So yeah. Okay. So Shant is laughing. All right. So Sudhir wants me to talk about the third point once again. Don't fret about it. Potential for miscommunication, as in when I'm talking to you, there can be a number of times you can just not understand me. So there is a valid opportunity for miscommunication there. People can maybe take other meanings out of what you're saying. So that is what you call potential for miscommunication. Yeah. Pallavi, what should I see, dear? All right, then dependency on memory, of course. Did you said that? No, I did not say that. No, you did say that. So it is about, where would you record it? Now, for example, if you come to me and you tell me that, ma'am, you said so, and I might say, no, I don't remember, but then you'll show me the video that, no, ma'am, I think it's in the recorded session. Then I might say yes. So there could be, this thing that the retention might not be there. And yes, MOMR, the minutes of the meeting is there, but then that is when you record. You make that record, right? But when you meet a person in the corridor or in the cafeteria or in the parking lot, there you don't have any recordings, right? If you talk about something important. What are you copying and pasting, Harsh, in the chat box? Don't do that. Don't do that again. All right. Okay, so moving further, you have visual communication also and written communication. I think we've already discussed about it. Written communication, it involves the use of written words. You're using words, but you're writing it down. You're writing your messages. You have ideas, you have thoughts, you have perceptions, you have, opinions that you write down. Okay, what does it include? It includes emails, letters, reports, memos, proposals, manuals, newsletters, right? Media post, right? I am sure that you all use Instagram, you write down your captions. What is that? That's written communication. Okay. Now Gaurav says, tell us how can we build our confidence for professional communication? Okay, so don't you want to figure out what's there in your course? First, we have to focus on the course, Gaurav. Okay? Then, of course, I'll give you some good pointers. Now, you have visual aids, visual communication also, students. Visual communication will be needed when you are presenting. Has anyone here ever presented in a meeting room? Anyone ever has presented? Okay, I think I can see a number of students saying yes. So, how do you present? What are the basic requirements for presentations? PPTs, all right, very good. PPT. Less text, more visual, very good. Audience, very good. Pictorial illustrations, chart, diagrams, all right. Okay, someone is asking, is visual communication part of verbal communication? So I would say again that it is more about the graph that you have in front of you, and that graph could be, I mean, the graphic element could be any of the visual aid elements that you have. But you also have a part of written communication that is a part of verbal also there. So there is some way in some points the verbal is included but not wholly. Okay, it's rather a 30-70 ratio. 30% of the verbal can be seen, and then rest of it is more about graphic element that actually represents something that you want to explain, right? I'm going to show you some visual aids. These are the visual aids. Can you see different types of visual aids on your screen, everyone? Very good. Now, can you identify all of these visual aids? Can you please write down in the chat box, what do you see? Okay, you see a map, you see a pie, images. Okay, okay, gallery. Now I'm going to point my cursor, okay, towards one of the visual aids, and you're going to tell me what is this called, okay? Can you see my cursor? What is this called, students? Very good. That's a map. All right. And what is this? Yeah, slideshow or video. All right. Okay, okay. All right. What is this? Venn diagram, right? So I don't need to go any further. You all are aware of it. Visual aids. Now, what does visual aids do? They represent your ideas in a more graphic manner, and the audience, they can capture the information at once. Okay, so visual aids is very, I would say, helpful. Communication, helpful part in communication. It just puts your information in a stylized manner, and the audience who is looking at the information will at once be able to understand what you're trying to say, right? Okay, can we move ahead, students? Okay, now comes the most interesting part of the live session here today, that is non-verbal communication. And non-verbal communication students will have a number of questions in your examinations also. Okay, so can we talk about it? Okay, so non-verbal communication students, it is when we are not using words, one, but then what are you using if you're not using your words, right? uh, Afzal is asking, is written communication a monologue? Well, we have not delved into this discussion any, I mean, I haven't, but then it doesn't come in monologue. It's like a message that you've sent, and then you wait for the other message to receive, and then it becomes a dialogue, right? So maybe in that sense. Anyways, so okay, Nosheen is asking, why can't I see the conversations of any other students? That's because in the beginning I told you that we have about 1500, no, 1400 students in the class, and then if we allow you to see each other's messages, then it becomes chaotic, right? Okay, Aditya says, ma'am, I think non-verbal communication has more potential for communication, for has more potential for miscommunication than oral. Yes, you're right, Aditya. Non-verbal communication has a lot of potential to make your conversation dubious, to make your message confusing. Okay, it can obscure the meaning all over. Okay, why? I'll tell you. And because it doesn't have a universal codification, one. Second is that non-verbal communication has become so very apparent, so very evident, that now people are working on it, right? And what are they working on? They're working on facial expressions, like how to give the best one when you're talking to a person and when you don't like what you're saying or what the person is saying. Then the body language, how you're, when you talk, okay, it's not at all, it's totally bland without your body language. Now I'm going to ask you, have you all watched Friends, the TV show? Have you ever watched Friends? Yes. So once in one of the episodes, Joey says to Chandler that no, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. Do you remember? It's not what you said, it's how you said it. Can anyone tell me what does it mean here? You forget about the show, you forget about the characters. You tell me what this dialogue means. The tone and expression, the pitch and tone. Very good. The expression. So it's, for example, I say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I do not mean that apology, perhaps. So it's about how you get it done, how you get that part explained through your energy, through your body language, through your posture, through your pitch and the tone and the voice, everything all together. So what you say, your message is accumulation. And when I say accumulation, I mean everything involving you, your personality will be adding to the authentication of your message. How authenticated is your message? Okay, how original, how very truthful is what you're saying. Yes. Right. Correct. So I think I'm going to move forward. We do not have enough time now. So nonverbal communication is the fundamental aspect of human interaction, and it plays a crucial role in interpersonal relationships, social dynamics, and cultural norms. And nonverbal cues can complement, reinforce, and even contradict verbal messages. Now, this is something that I want you all to please write down or highlight in your notepad, right? I hope I'm clear to everyone. Can you all hear me perfectly well right now? All right. So non-verbal cues can complement, can reinforce what you're saying, but can also, point to be noted, can also contradict what you're saying. Okay? Right? Okay. Now, also, this is a very important point, the last one. Non-verbal communication is subconscious and spontaneous. And that's why a lot of us today, and not just today, I think it's been centuries that people are working on their spontaneity, and they're molding it. They're molding the non-verbal communication and making sure that the best version comes out, right? And that's why non-verbal communication can also be deliberate and strategic. And when I say deliberate and strategic, it means you can work upon it, you can control it, you can, I would say, condition it also. Not always, but I think 90% of it you can do it. And how to do it, we'll talk about it. I think today was about introducing you to non-verbal communication, because I don't think we have enough time left now. So, yeah. So, allowing individuals to convey messages intentionally or influence others' perceptions or behavior, that's what we call in soft skills, right? So, with this, I think I'm going to stop for the session today. But I still have a few things that I have to talk about uh, the first module. So I wouldn't say that the first module is complete, okay? But I'm going to show you, sorry, I'm going to, yeah, I hope the voice was clear. I'm going to show you a video, okay? And first of all, you let me know if it is audible or not, okay? And with this, I will just wrap up the session for today. And we'll still again talk about, this particular slide which I left, which I'm leaving right now. Okay. Adapters, effect displays, complementing, contradicting, emblems, illustrations, masking, object adapters, and regulators. I'm going to talk about this in the next session because today we don't have that much of time. So before I end the session, yes, I'm going to talk about the 7 C's also, but that's really very easy. I think that's going to be the homework for you. Copact, I'll talk. Copact and adapters, I'll talk in the next session. But before I leave for the session today, I'm going to show you this video. So you all please be very attentive. It's well known. Okay, there's no voice. Wait. How to, yeah. Just 1 second. Okay, let me know if it is audible now. That some gestures mean different things in different parts of the world. It's well known that some gestures mean different things in different parts of the world. In some places, such as Britain, this means everything's okay, while in Brazil and other places, it's considered obscene. And in still other places, such as Japan, it means money. In Italy, they might make this sign to emphasize a point, while in Jordan, it can mean wait a second. Certain things often have gestures for them. For instance, in most places where drinking alcohol is popular, there's a sign for drinking or getting drunk. In the US, it's this. While in France, they grab and twist their nose, and in Russia, they flick their throat. On the other hand, some places have more or less unique gestures. In Russia, to say you're making things too complicated, you scratch your ear by going around the back of your head. Among the most common and probably oldest gestures are nodding for yes and shaking the head for no. But even this isn't universal. Bulgarians are famous for shaking their head to mean yes and nodding with a click of the tongue to mean no. And in South Asia, they have a third option, which involves tilting the head from side to side. It's used to acknowledge the person speaking to you, although in some contexts, it can also mean approval or even uncertainty. All right. So I think something is you learned something, did you not? Something new I got today. All right, Sparsh, very good. So, I want to tell you one thing, that why I chose this particular video to show you, because in the next module, we'll be talking about stereotypes, we're going to talk about ethnocentrism, we're going to talk about cultural differences and cultural shock, all of these things. And for that, you'll have to make sure, you'll have to understand how crucial nonverbal cues are, right? Okay, so I think yeah, we have we don't have enough time now, so I'm going to finish. Yeah. So we're going to talk about co-pact in the next session, adapters also in the next session, and also the second module. Okay? Thank you so much, students. Thank you so much for being in the session, to for understanding everything with respect to verbal and non-verbal communication. I have some memes for you because I love sharing memes. So these memes will just give you a highlight of how your non-verbal expressions look when you talk, right? Okay, can you see the memes? Give me a yes in the chat box. All right. So thank you so much, students, for being in this session, for being such a patient audience here. And we're going to meet again very soon. Okay. Till then, make sure that you have covered the first module completely and also the second module before we meet for it. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Have a nice Sunday and happy learning to all of you. Bye bye. Thank you so much.